Well, hello, good morning to the wider Kiss Goodbye to MS fan that's joining us today, and the birds at my house, and welcome to the now digital launch of the May 50K 2020. My name's Brioni. I was a fundraiser in the May 50K last year, and I might be a familiar face to some of you if you watched the MS Research Australia live update late last year. I'll be hosting today's launch, where you're going to hear from our Head of Research, Julia Morahan, as well as Kate Roberts, who was actually the top fundraiser for the May 50K in 2019. Before we get started, I might just quickly say a few words on behalf of MS Research Australia and Kiss Goodbye to MS. Now look, 2020 certainly hasn't started off the way that a lot of us might have hoped. The year kicked off in the midst of the terrible Australian bushfire season that affected so many people right across the country. And now we find ourselves in very unfamiliar territory with the COVID-19 health crisis. Now I hope that everyone is keeping well at home and safe and healthy and following all the recommendations from the government and the various health organisations. Look, I think a lot of people are probably feeling quite unsettled and anxious about our current situation. And that can be even more so for people living with multiple sclerosis and all the challenges that it shows on a daily basis. However, I did see a few MSs online comment that they think that those of us living with MS are actually quite well equipped to deal with this situation, as we're actually used to living with uncertainty. Now, importantly, I'd like to remind you to just stay positive and don't forget that this is only a temporary situation, and with everyone doing the right thing, this too will pass. I think it helps to focus on making the most of this unusual time and kind of find a silver lining if you dig deep enough. For example, I think I've actually spent more time on phone calls and video chats with good friends and family than I've done in years. I'm actually finding the time to get out and exercise more because I just want to escape the four walls of my house in a way. I've found it to be the perfect excuse to engage in a little more online shopping than I probably should. And also with the power of social media, I've actually found that I'm discovering all sorts of new hobbies and activities that I never would have previously tried because there's so many creative people getting online to share ideas of what to do, which is awesome. One of our Kiss Goodbye to MS ambassadors, Kerry Newton, she actually made a really great point recently by saying that during this time of uncertainty, there is one thing that we know for sure, and that is that we will all rally together and blow the roof off this year's the May 50K. And now that's the positive kind of attitude that we all need right now. So today we want to officially launch and celebrate the second year of the May 50K with you at home. So for anyone who might be new to this and perhaps doesn't know much about it, take a look. So the May 50K is a virtual fitness and fundraising challenge to run or walk 50 kilometres throughout the month of May and raise funds for life-changing MS research. It can be completed on your own and anywhere in Australia, even in the comfort of your own home, your backyard or your local park. With everything that's going on in the world, we now need your help more than ever. In multiple sclerosis, the body mistakenly attacks and damages myelin, which is the fatty material that surrounds the nerves, which is important for protecting and insulating the nerves so that the brain and spinal cord can send messages to and from the rest of the body. MS is especially common in young women, with 3 out of 4 people that are diagnosed being female. The symptoms can be anything from fatigue, brain fog, blurred or double vision, difficulties with walking or balancing, pain, pins and needles, and so many more. It's typically diagnosed in the prime of your life, between 20 to 40 years of age, just at that time that you're finally starting to kick goals in your career, or you might be starting to think about having a family. And we know that with more research, we can work out how to stop and repair the damage caused by MS within the next 10 years. Yep, that's just a decade. But we do desperately need more funding to get there. So let's take on the May 50K together this May and drive the change that we all want to see, which is freedom from MS. So you want to know what's in it for you? All right, well, let me introduce Dr. Julia Morahan, who's the head of research at MS Research Australia. Julia is going to give us an insight into why exercise in particular is so important, especially for people that are living with MS, and particularly now. She's also going to give us a sneak peek into the exercise recommendations from MS Research Australia's modifiable lifestyle guidelines for people living with MS, which is something that's due out later this year. So let's bring Julia into the fold and find out what she can tell us. Julia.
Thanks, Brioni. My name's Julia and I'm Head of Research at MS Research Australia. I'm very excited to be talking to everyone today about a project that we've been working on over the last 18 months to do with modifiable lifestyle factors in MS. So the idea of the project is to see whether there are things that people with MS can do with the help of their health professionals that can change their symptoms or change their quality of life for their MS alongside their medications. And I'm very excited to be able to launch a sneak peek of the exercise section of the Modifiable Lifestyle Factors document for people with MS today. So the research shows that exercise is able to reduce relapses and help with progression in some cases. But the most important thing that the research shows is that exercise is safe for people with MS. So I would like to encourage people with MS with mild to moderate symptoms to exercise to improve their quality of life and perhaps their symptoms over this May 50K. The May 50K is a wonderful way to stay active and stay connected during these strange times. And during these uncertain times, it is also incredibly important that we raise vital funds for medical research. So thanks for having me, and over to you, Brioni.
All right, thanks so much, Julia. I actually think it's really exciting to hear about this new research. When I was diagnosed with MS, I was looking for lifestyle recommendations that were based on solid evidence and not just on hearsay. I think a lot of us want to know what we can do beyond medications to help improve our prognosis. So it's promising to hear that we'll soon know more about this aspect, and I'm sure it will help give a greater sense of certainty and options to people living with MS in the future. To know that there's research-backed evidence that regular exercise can reduce the chance of having a relapse in the future is really encouraging. And of course, it's even more of a reason to take on the May 50K this year. Like Julia said, it's so important that we don't forget to look after our physical and mental well-being during a time such as this, and to recognise how we can all help to fund MS research. I was actually kind of nervous when I signed up for the May 50K last year, but in the end I was surprised by how good I felt by the end of it. My fitness was definitely improved by the end of the month. The stairs at work were far easier for me to get up and down 3 flights every day. This is going to sound a bit cheesy, but I actually felt empowered during the process, especially because I'd actually used the May 50K as a platform to publicly acknowledge or publicly share my MS diagnosis. I'd actually kept it a secret from most people for over 3 years. And the May 50K actually gave me a way to tell people that I had MS, but at the same time show them that my MS didn't define me. I reached my 50-kilometre goal about 4 days before the end of the month, which I was pretty chuffed about. my fundraising goal, which I'd actually set at $500, was obliterated. In the end, I raised over $5,000 because it turns out that you just never know how many wonderful people love you and want to support you in whatever way they can, which was lovely. I really enjoyed being part of the movement and being connected to all the different runners and walkers that were doing it as well. I'd often look up all the hashtags on social media to see who else was running and where they were running, where they lived. I'd see other people running past me and think, are they running with me for the same reasons? So one of those special other runners who also loved taking part last year is Kate Roberts. Now, Kate's an absolute pocket rocket. She raised an incredible $21,000 for MS Research last year, and she was actually our top fundraiser for 2019. So let's cross now to Kate, who's down in Newcastle, to find out why she participated last year and what her goals might be for this year's challenge.
Thanks so much, Brioni. I can't wait to see what I can achieve for the May 50k this year, and I'm really excited to be here today and share my story with you all, and hopefully inspire some more people to join us. My name is Kate Roberts. I'm 36 years old and I've been living with multiple sclerosis for the last 6 years. I was diagnosed the December after my 30th birthday, after my symptoms commenced in the last week of my trip of a lifetime holiday. We were in Hawaii and I woke up one morning and I couldn't feel the right hand side of my face, which was very confronting. Continued holidaying. When I got home, I eventually went to the GP, who said to me straight, you've either had a stroke or you've got MS. So it was off to a neurologist, and then off to have an MRI, which confirmed a really high lesion load on my brain. Neurologist was shocked that I hadn't had any symptoms prior to when they had commenced. So for the last 5 out of 6 Christmases, I've relapsed. However, 2019 was a different story. I commenced a new treatment at the beginning of last year. I'm currently going through that treatment again at the moment. And I didn't relapse last year. So onwards and upwards for my treatments. Hopefully no more relapses, but I'm keeping safe here while I'm immunocompromised. Everything is still continuing. My daily exercise, I've now got my personal trainer. She's coming to see me on my lunch breaks, which is awesome. So I can still keep active. I actually think I'm a bit more active. And now the May 50k is now upon us. I'm walking even more, and my little sidekick Nitro is much happier. We're doing 2 walks a day now. So prior to being diagnosed, I was actually a really super active gym goer. Turned into working at the gym, and then was managing a gym prior to when I left for my holiday. I returned and basically everything just crumbled around me. Treatment started, the side effects of those treatments started, which was, look, I couldn't do anything. I really couldn't do much at all. I started gaining a lot of weight. I was depressed, and I did have a lot of why me emotions. But the one thing that I have decided, and have decided over since being diagnosed, that no matter what, MS is not going to break my spirit, and I'm determined to do as much as I can to help find a cure. So when I came across the May 50k last year, it was the perfect thing for me. I was immunocompromised. I could still walk, so it was laps. It was laps around the block. It was laps and laps and laps. Now, I may not be able to pinpoint a highlight of the May 50K last year, but I had support from my work, NIB Health Funds. I had support from my local friends, Janine and Dan Redman, who owned the George Tavern Green Hills. We raised over $15,000 at the George Tavern throughout the month of May. NIB, we raised, it was just under $3,500 through a bake sale, and then dollar for dollar being matched by the NIB Foundation. So I'm really blessed with the support that has continued throughout my diagnosis. And when I think about the May 50K, it makes me happy. It gave me my spark back to fundraise again. And I challenged myself daily on my walks. The May 50K is nothing but good for anyone living with MS. You are raising awareness, you are helping you're keeping moving. It's the best thing to focus on, especially while we're in lockdown at the moment. Get out there if you can, do laps of the driveway, in your backyard. I'm determined to give it a go, and I know that it's been tough this year, but people like me who live with MS, every day is tough. It's crucial that we remember the importance of funding medical research, and that people living with MS, we still need better treatments, prevention, and ultimately a cure. The May 50K is a virtual fitness and fundraising challenge, and you can do it on your own and anywhere in Australia, around the world, even in the comfort of your own home, backyard, or park, as long as you're social distancing. Get your fur baby and get out there. Let's come together as a community to show that nothing will break us or stop us from leaving MS where it belongs, and that's behind us. Have a good day, everyone, and I'll pass it back to you, Brioni. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks so much for sharing your story, Kate. You're an absolute star, and your determination and your attitude are really wonderful to see. And you're absolutely right. Nothing will stop us from leaving MS behind this year, no matter what challenges the universe decides to throw at us. Look, the May 50K, it's the perfect opportunity, I think, to get outdoors and stretch our legs in a time when we're all cooped up inside four walls most of the time. To clear our heads with some exercise, and maybe catch up on those podcasts that we've been meaning to get to, and to stay connected with like-minded people of the Kiss Goodbye to MS family who've joined forces to make a difference to people living with MS. We are counting on your support this year, and there's a couple of ways that you can help. Register today as an individual or as a team. Ask your friends, your family, maybe even your colleagues to take on the May 50K challenge with you. Share your experience on social media. Ask others to donate to support you as you take on the May 50K challenge. But most important of all, have fun. So don't forget, you can do the May 50K on your own and anywhere in Australia. Register today by heading to www.themay50k.org and help us kiss goodbye to MS once and for all. Thank you so much for your support. It means the world to people like myself who are living with MS.